All right, so when it comes to buying and selling into these meme coins, a lot of people have questions on what the fees are and where they should be set at. So when you come here, you have the priority fee and you have the bribe fee. All these really mean is just they just determine how fast you want to get into a coin and also how fast you can sell out of a coin. And when you're playing around with these fees, you never want to put too much thought into it because the concept is pretty simple. So basically, if a coin is having low volume, you want to keep the fees low. You want to keep it at zero or the recommended value. If you want to know the recommended value, you can just hover over it. It'll tell you right here, also right here. And then you can also scroll down. You'll see it'll also show it on the bottom of the screen. And as you can see, the coin that I'm looking at right now barely has any volume. You know what I mean? Like there's barely anyone trading this coin. So there's like no volume in this coin. So if you were to trade a coin like this is where you'd want to keep it on zero. If you wanted to raise it anymore, then your next bet would be the recommended value, for both of these. If a coin had a little bit more volume or a lot of volume, then you probably don't want to have both of these on zero. So your next best bet would just to up these to the recommended setting. And if for whatever reason you're still having trouble getting into the coin after you set these to the recommended value, then you just want to start playing around with it. You only want to up it by a little bit, only up it a little bit more than what it's telling you. You know what I mean? You never want to pay that much in fees. You know what I mean? Because that will take away from your profits. You should never have to go more than 0.001 or maybe 0.0001 or 0.002, values like that. That should be your max, even on the higher volume coins. Because like I said, Axiom Pro is pretty good with getting you in pretty fast anyway. So, you know what I mean? You'll never really have to up these if you're on Axiom Pro. And if you trade on GMGN, it's kind of the same with that. You never really have to go more than 0.001 or 0.002, anything like that. And anytime you want to play around with these fees and, change them up, you just come to these presets because, you can save different presets. So let's say you wanted to do preset one for your high volume token. So, you would put a higher value in there. And then preset two would be for your low volume token, in which you'll keep these at zero or whatever it's recommending. Like I said, you can see it down here. You can come up here, hover over that, and it'll show you. Also, if you see this lighten up yellow like this, that just means that you don't have it set on the recommended value. But like I said, it's only the recommended value. So, you don't have to go by what they're saying. And lastly, if you're trading with a low port like 20 bucks or less, then you always just want to keep these on zero. You probably don't even want to do the recommended value because like I said, this will eat away at your profits. And if you're trading with a little bit of money, like 20 bucks or less, and you're only in like $5 profit, then you just want to keep these on zero because if you pay too much in fees, then it'll deduct from your profit, or you might even lose money because you paid more money in fees than what you got in profit.